Hi, I'm Dion Williams, President and CEO of Piedmont Advantage Credit Union. And today, as we celebrate our 75th anniversary, as we've been doing the whole year, I'm thrilled to have with us today 4 very long-term employees of the credit union to share their experiences and some stories along their journey and their time with the credit union. So as we start, Lori, let me start with you. Just tell me about how you started with the credit union and when, and anything that comes to mind from when you first started.
So I came to the credit union in 1999, and I had been in banking for 10 years prior. And what really drew me to the credit union movement was banking was getting so much sales oriented and losing the relationship with the customer. So becoming part of the credit union, where it was more relational, and the members, you could really get to know your members. That really is what interested me, and why I kind of got in banking in the first place. So that brought me back to where I wanted to be.
Awesome. Now, Bonnie, I think you may be our longest serving employee.
Yes, I was just saying my story's kind of entertaining how I came to work, so I'll try to be brief. But I graduated college in 1989 and had worked at a bank during the summer, and I was looking for a job because I was just part-time. My then boyfriend, who is now my husband, used to go to this little bar and shoot pool, and he was there one night, and this woman came in and said, "I don't know what I'm going to do. My assistant manager turned in her notice today, and I'm going out of town in a couple of weeks." And he's like, "My girlfriend needs a job." And she said, "Can you bring her down here for me to talk to her?" So my first interview was in a little pool hall, and I went to work as assistant manager to a 2-person office, the manager and the assistant manager, and was there, and we grew. And then that was in 1989, 2004, we merged in with Piedmont Advantage Credit Union. So I got a total of 42 years service serving our members in Eden, and 20 with Piedmont.
That's phenomenal.
So, it's a lot more to the story if anybody ever
Stephanie, how about you?
I've actually been in credit union since 2007. I started at my first credit union. I started working with Piedmont as a temporary staff member in 2011. I became like a full-time employee in 2013 in January. So getting a little bit close to 12 years with the credit union Piedmont. Been a long time, but yeah.
Before you were full-time, were you with Human Resources at that point, or did you transition?
So I started in the branch, and that's when we had a branch on Liberty Street, and then one over at the Pavilion Shopping Center. So I worked at those 2 branches, and then I started in indirect lending as an indirect loan processor. I think at some point during my time in the branch, you were manager at
I
one
think
point.
you came to work for me.
Yep.
I believe that's right.
And then when I moved to indirect lending, Lisa Davis was my manager at that point too. And I really enjoyed my time in the branch, and then lending too, getting to see the other side of the credit union. And then I moved into HR in 2016. So it's just been another opportunity to kind of see the other side of the credit union, or another aspect, another department. So it's been really fun.
That's one of the things I love about credit unions, is the many hats that we get to wear, sometimes have to wear, but we wear those hats, and that's a good jumping off point for James to tell his story.
Sure. I started here in August of 2000. I had worked for 2 other credit unions, so I knew the industry I wanted to be in and stay in. I was working in South Carolina. My wife and I were starting to expand our family, and we wanted to kind of move back closer to family here in North Carolina. So about a year after submitting applications and resumes, former CEO Tom Welch called, and we had a really good interview that day. I was driving back home, and before I got too far down the road, he called and offered me the position. So I called my wife and talked to her, and before I got home, I was the newest employee of the credit union. It's been great ever since.
Very good. And I should have started this way, but we'll go back and do it now. Could you just give your name and your title and your actual number of years with the credit union, Lori?
So I'm Lori Carnes, and I'm a member experience advisor, and I've been here 25 years.
Bonnie Coleman, consumer underwriter, and my total credit union service time is 42 years.
So Stephanie Stonking, right now I'm in HR, I'm HR supervisor. I've been with the credit union almost 12 years.
James Moore, VP of Risk Management, been here 24 years.
Awesome. James, can you, whether it's a fondest memory or first memory of the credit union, is any special story to share with us about your time with us?
More than any specific memory, what has really, I think, cemented things for me is that there's always been the constant of member focus through 3 different CFOs. Maybe the first half of my career here, the board was pretty much the same, but there's been some turnover in there now too. But I think that we've never lost the focus on why we're here, and I think that's why we've been as successful as we've been for as long as we've been.
How about you, Stephanie?
Sorry, what was the question?
A fondest memory or a first memory or something that really stands out to you about your time with Piedmont Advantage?
I have just really enjoyed working at Piedmont because, and some of the places I worked before, it wasn't as much of a team environment. It just, thinking about one previous place before, it was more of a kind of, everyone was looking out for themselves. And so I really enjoyed coming to Piedmont, feeling like a team, no matter what department I've been in. And then as the overall company as a whole, just everyone kind of collaborating and working together. So that's probably what I enjoyed most about Piedmont.
And yet yesterday, when we were doing the service project, I was working with Bonnie and James, and just that you had 3 or 4 different areas of the credit union coming together, and just how quickly. I mean, I just marvel at how many luminaries were assembled in a short amount of time, just because everybody just kind of fell into place and what can we do to help, and just that working as a team. How about you, Bonnie? Fondest memory or earliest memory or something that stands out?
I just, when I first started the credit union, we were so small. I actually had a member call me at home one time and say, "Do you know right off the top of your head what the payoff is on my car?" Well, no. But I mean, it was just starting off small, but then even as we merged and as we've grown, just the whole people helping people concept and the way the members have always been the focus everywhere and in every position I've been in.
Now, from what I know about you, though, I bet you could have got it within a couple of $1,000s on that payoff.
At that
Because you
time,
know the
I might
members
could
that well.
have. I might could have at that time did that in that well.
How about you, Lori?
I think one of my fondest memories is the year that I received the Members Come First Award. That was, that meant so much to me to be recognized by my coworkers and my superiors. It makes you feel like, or it helps to validate that you're doing a good job and that you are well respected and are valued in the organization.
Now, as you think ahead to the next 75 years, and hopefully we're not all here 75 years from now, so hopefully we're off enjoying retirement, grandkids, or what have you, but over the next 75 years, what are you most excited about as it pertains to PACU?
Just to continue to grow our membership base and to continue to stay and remain member focused, and just helping people. I think that's one of the biggest things of why I love working for the credit union, is because we really do care about our members, and we are here to try to help them, not only personally but also financially.
Bonnie?
Having started out with the limited technology we had back in that day, just seeing what comes next is exciting to me. But what really excites me is hearing you talk about your ideas for branches and how to reach different areas and that kind of thing, to be able to reach, maybe some areas that are a little more underserved than some of them, and just being able to grow in that direction. I think that's really something to look forward to.
There definitely are some banking deserts, and we hope we can fill those, and hopefully the legislature some of the legislative endeavors we've worked on this past couple of years will come to fruition, so it makes it even easier for credit unions to get into those underserved areas and do so effectively. Stephanie?
I think probably a little bit about what both Lori and Bonnie have said, but also I've enjoyed kind of watching, because the foundation wasn't a part of the credit union when I started.
Right.
So I know we did some stuff within the community and helping with Victory Junction and things like that. But seeing, the foundation formed and the things that we've been able to help with in the community through the donations and projects and things like that, I think that's exciting to kind of see where that's going.
I love that as well, and seeing that the involvement with Victory Junction Gang as well as the scholarship programs, those continue in partnership with the Carolinas Credit Union League Foundation, but then we can do our own focus in the communities we serve. That is awesome. How about you, James?
I think that the key for us going forward is going to be one, what I talked about before, keeping the focus on the member. I think if we do that, then most everything else takes care of itself. But one thing I think that I've seen here in my time is we've been very adaptive. We've been a size, there's some very large credit unions all around us, but we've lived through some of the same challenges they have, being very much smaller. But I think we've been very adaptive to what our members need, and whatever the environment is. We've been through rising rate environments, falling rate environments. Went through this thing called COVID. I can remember we do policy reviews every year, and one of the ones I'm responsible for is pandemic. And I can remember for years looking at this pandemic policy and thinking, this is kind of silly. Why do we even have something like this? And boy, did I find out why we have something like this. But I think that's a really good example of how that came on us so fast, and we had to make so many decisions about how to do things. But we have a really good team in place, stayed focused on what was important, and we adapted, and we got through it together.
And I love that response. And the next question I was going to ask, you might want to use the same word for this, but I'll give you a chance in case there's another one you have. But I was going to ask each of you to give one word to sum up your experience with the credit union and expand on that. So, James, if you want to run down that path with that same word, or choose another.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with focus. That we focus on the member first, and that's as foundational as a thing can be. I'll give credit to our board of directors because I think that's where it starts, and I think they have never lost that focus from day one, when it was generally a Piedmont Airlines type of environment. They felt like they owned it in a positive way, that they owned the responsibility of staying focused on the membership, and I think we've never lost that. So I'd say being focused is that word.
Excellent. Stephanie?
Probably, member focused, but also collaboration, probably, and development. Collaboration is what I see within the company as a whole, and then, with the membership as well, working with them, as sort of a trusted partner to kind of work on their financial goals. So collaboration that way too, but also development, because I feel like I've been able to develop, and I feel like that's what PACU does for its employees, is that it kind of allows you to kind of develop in the areas that you find interest in or that you want to grow. So, and I feel like we're developing as a company as each year goes past too in different ways.
I love that focus, collaboration, development. That's a recipe for success. Bonnie?
When I was thinking about this, I guess I was just thinking about reflecting on my whole career and what it had meant to me. And the word I came to was gratifying. Just to be able to help people, and the great people through my whole journey that I've been able to get to know over the years, and the members and the coworkers, and just everything. Is that as I'm looking more backwards over my career, just how gratifying it's been, how blessed I've been to be able to work somewhere that is the focus that you were talking about, really the people.
And like Bonnie, I think that's how I thought of my one word was kind of over the life of my career is joy, because I get to wake up every day and come to a job that I actually do enjoy. And if I can just make a difference in, one member's life, whether it be personally or financially, then that just brings me so much joy. And, that's what I feel like I've done through my whole career while I'm here.
Gratitude and joy. Love it. With this, I'm trying to think how to phrase this next question, but you know how you say at different points in your life, I'd want to write a letter to my 10-year-old self or 21-year-old self. But if you were going to give advice to someone that's going to work in this credit union 25 years from now, what would you tell that person?
So I would say come with an open mind and just be willing to, roll with the changes and to just, be real with people and to really develop a relationship, with not only your coworkers, but also the members that you serve.
Very similar, to come into it wanting to learn, wanting to grow, being willing to listen to other people and not so much just the focus on how is this going to affect me? How can I advance? How can I have career, move up here, more along the lines of really listening to what everybody else has to offer.
Probably, I guess, along those same lines, just coming in and knowing that in order to kind of grow and develop in your role, that you need to be focused and willing to learn, but also kind of taking accountability for your role in the organization, and then your responsibility to the membership and your coworkers as well to do the best job and be a trusted advisor to a member and trusted person for your period as well. So, because I think that's an important quality to have.
Absolutely.
And trustworthy.
James.
I'm going to steal Bonnie's word from earlier, gratitude. I started in the credit union industry right out of college. Really didn't know what I was getting into, but very quickly started to see that this was an industry that I could embrace, that it was member focused or people focused, making a difference, a positive difference in people's lives. And I'm just very grateful for being able to have had a career in an industry that's allowed me to do that. So I'm grateful.
Credit unions are unique just in that I think there's very few industries that embody that the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the individual parts, because again, hearing your stories, everybody came in kind of doing something different and evolved to the role that you're in today. And I think it's really amazing with credit unions. But also, I think back to my grandparents and my parents, and your experience are probably very similar, that there was very few job changes in their lives. They worked for one or two employers, and that was kind of it in their whole career. And we don't see a lot of that now. So when we're talking about doing this series, it's just amazing how many team members here we have at PACU that have been here so long. I think that's just a testament to the organization and just folks that are passionate about what we do. So that's awesome. James?
So along those lines, kind of a story. When I was first starting out, my father was a member of a credit union. And when I was starting to look for jobs out of college, he said, well, why don't you just go down to the credit union and talk to them, ask them what kind of careers they have. So that's kind of how it started. But talking about family, it's just interesting to me that when his son was looking for a career, he thought about credit unions because it had been such an important part of his family and his life. So again, grateful for that.
And my career started with my mom's retired teacher's assistant at Caldwell County Schools and about 30 years, and so lifelong members of a credit union. And when I was in college looking for a summer job, my dad said, "We'll go in there and talk to the branch manager and see if they have anything for you." And I was a peak time ATM custodian, and I never left the industry. And they don't have peak time ATM custodians. Well, as we wrap up this episode of Voices of Experience, just want to say thank you so much to Lori Carnes, Bonnie Coleman, Stephanie Stone King, and James Moore for sharing their stories and experiences with us. And when we had our discussion earlier about the one word that stands out, in recent annual meetings on our annual report, we've had words such as trust and resilience, and more recently, belonging. And I think the stories today really pulled together how, as a team that serves members, the belonging that takes place there, but also how we embrace our members and bring them into the belonging fold. So thank you so much for your time today. Enjoyed hearing your stories, and again, I just marvel at how long you've been with the credit union and that there's still a place in the world where that's prevalent, that folks are passionate about where they work and with their communities and being involved and all that entails. So thank you so much. And again, I'm Dion Williams with Piedmont Advantage Credit Union, and thank you for watching this edition of Voices of Experience.